everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Erika McLean and I'm a realtor at Simply South Realty in New Brockton, Alabama, where we service the real estate needs of the Wiregrass area. And today we're going to talk about why it is so important that you do a final walkthrough. So who is the final walkthrough for? Well, of course it's for the buyer. And I'm bringing this up, or I think this is such an important topic to talk about, because I have had several buyers in the past who, when I said we need to do our walkthrough, what day can you do it? Now, me personally, I like to try to do my walkthroughs at least 3 days before closing. So why 3 days before closing? In case there is something that the seller promised to do per contract and they didn't do it, well, maybe we can somehow in those 3 days have a miracle take place, or we may have to just push closing out until those things can be corrected. Regardless, that final walkthrough is so that the purchaser or buyer can walk through the home and make sure that the seller has fulfilled any promises to make any repairs or to do anything to the home that they said they were going to do. So that final walkthrough, you can go through, flip light switches on, check to make sure appliances are working. One thing that I learned the hard way on was an air conditioning unit. I had a buyer who, when she moved in, the AC was not working. Now, the air conditioner was working when we did our walkthrough. What we did not realize is at some point between our walkthrough and closing, or it may have happened then, that we don't know how it happened, but the Freon line somehow got messed up, so it had been leaking out Freon. But when we got there, we didn't know that. It was still cooling at the time. So one thing I know for sure to check during these walkthroughs is the AC unit out back, making sure everything looks good back there, eyeballing it. Again, this is not a home inspection, period. That's not what it is. Now, if you want to bring someone with you, maybe who's knowledgeable about that stuff, you can. But this is strictly just so that you can walk through and make sure, again, appliances, everything is working correctly, that air conditioner is working correctly, anything the seller was supposed to correct is corrected, and to make sure that in between the day you saw the house and the contract everything was put into motion, that say a large tree in back hasn't fallen on the back of the house, maybe half of the house is missing on the back. This is just to make sure the house is the way you found it when you first saw it. Okay, maybe not always the way you found it, if there were repairs that had to be made. Going through and just making sure that the seller has kept up their end of the contract as to what they were supposed to do, and that would include maintaining the condition of the home up through closing, so the way that you saw it the first day when you put in the contract, that it still is that way, and to make sure that they've made any repairs that they promised to make. I actually had gone to a house, and it was I think it was around 2 or 3 days prior to closing, and none of the repairs that I had requested had been made. So you can imagine how happy I was at that moment. I had assumed, that these repairs were being done, and wouldn't you know, the few days prior, none of the things that we had requested had been done. I think maybe 2 or 3. We had a list of several items, and 2 or 3 had been corrected and the rest had not. So, I had to put my big girl britches on and go say to the seller, hey, in the contract, you stated that you would make these corrections. They have not been corrected. If we're going to close in 2 days, you're going to have to do this. So it is so important that you do that final walkthrough. Don't overlook it. Don't say, hey, I've got X, Y, and Z to do today. that walkthrough is so crucial. I don't ever want my client to go to closing, not done the walkthrough, get to their house, and they're like calling me up, Erika, this hasn't been done, or Erika, this, you know, it's flooding here in the kitchen for some reason. You know, we would have known that if we had, you know, gone through and done the walkthrough prior. So please don't discount that. Don't treat it as something that is trivial to do. It is so important that you do it. If you can't be there in person to do that walkthrough, see if you can, your agent will go over there, maybe do a video walkthrough of it for you. I have done that before. And on that video walkthrough, I actually found a leak in a toilet that had to be corrected, or I was told it was corrected, and I found out that it wasn't corrected. See, we had to get that corrected before we went to closing. So it is so important. I could give you other examples, but we would be here all day. But I think you kind of get my point. Go do your final walkthrough. Okay, before you go, hit the subscribe button and also click that notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned anything at all. And until next time, I will see you guys later.